the Cloverdale Langley City.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was in the House last week when the minister responsible for C-81 introduced this legislation. As somebody who had spent my career in the federal public service, I was really pleased to see that the legislation called for the federal workforce becoming more representative of the Canadian population, and including persons with disabilities and of different abilities within the workforce. I was also really pleased to hear about the funding that will be available to make improvements for accessibility across federal assets. And I know that the member who's been speaking from Saanich Gulf Islands has a place within her riding that's very near and dear to me, Gulf Islands National Park Reserve. And so through you, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask the member if she could speak perhaps to some of the great benefits that we'll see at Gulf Islands National Park Reserve as rising from Bill C-81, because I think that it will help with the workforce and visitors to that area in having inclusive experiences. But I would like to hear the member's thoughts about how this legislation might benefit her own backyard.
Honourable member for Saanich Gulf Islands.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I will thank my friend from Cloverdale Langley City and take the opportunity to congratulate him on election as chair of the Environment Committee. I think this is something that will, I hope you, maybe I'm premature, but in any case, there will be a change in the chairmanship of that committee. Yeah, my own backyard, boy, it's a spectacular backyard when he uses that phrase. I live in one of the most beautiful parts of Canada. The Gulf Islands National Park is a challenge for accessibility, even for those who are fully physically able. We have all of our abilities to walk, and yet much of the Gulf Islands National Park requires being on a boat. And then when you consider physical limitations, you want to make sure that every Canadian has access to experiences such as being able to watch whales from shore. That's one of the best places for whale watching, as the honourable member knows, is on Saturna Island, where you don't have to be in a boat at risk of harassing the whales. They more or less come to you, and you can experience them very close up in a place like Saturna. Fortunately, BC Ferries has accessibility in their minds, and much of the ferry routes are accessible. There are many ways in which Gulf Islands National Park and all national parks could improve accessibility given the goals of C-81. So I agree with him. There's a tremendous potential here. I would love to see it realized with timelines.